readers, it's me, Mrs. Kilquist. You probably don't recognize me without my mask on, but I am here today to do a little reading lesson with you. Yesterday, you should have, on our Google Classroom, watched a little video that explained what main idea is. We've talked a lot in class and at home about the difference between fiction and nonfiction. We know a fiction story is made up. It's not real. It has a character. It has a setting. And we know that nonfiction teaches us about real information. We've also been talking about text features and how we can use text features in a nonfiction text to help us find and make sense of the information that we're reading. Well, now that we know how a nonfiction text works, we're going to start talking a lot about main idea and key details and how to find that in a text that we're reading. So I want you to think of main idea as what the text is mostly about. Think about a pizza. You have your crust, you have your sauce, your cheese, and all your toppings. The main idea is like the crust of the pizza. You can't have a pizza without the crust, just like you can't have a nonfiction text without a main idea. The main idea is going to tell you what that story is all about. So we're going to think of the main idea like the pizza crust. And all of the details in the text are going to be the toppings, like the mushrooms, the pepperonis, the cheese. And those are all the things in the text that tell us about the main topic. They're going to be facts that teach us and support that main topic. So for instance, I have this book called The Moon. And a lot of times you can figure out what the main idea is just by reading the title. This one says The Moon. So the main idea of this text is going to be all about the moon. All of the key details are going to be the things in this text that support that. So let's find a key detail. Here's a key detail. The moon is far away. That supports that this text is about the moon. It would take 3 days to get there from Earth. That's another key detail. That's another important piece of information that supports that this text is all about the moon. You can go through the text, and any fact in there is going to be a supporting detail or a key detail that's going to help us make sense of that main idea. Okay, it has to match. If I'm reading a book about the moon, the key detail in the story is not going to be about sharks, right? It's going to be everything that goes with the moon. So I want you guys to start thinking about that when you're reading a nonfiction text and you're using those text features that we've talked about. I want you to think about what that text is mostly about. What is the main idea? What is it trying to teach us about? And then I want you to start thinking about the key details that support that. Think of the pizza toppings. What makes that text, what are the facts within that text that support the main idea? So here are some ways that we can find the main idea. Look at the title and the headings, right? We said we can tell that the main idea of this book is all about the moon because the title literally says the moon. You can look at the pictures. If we go through this, we know that there's going to be lots of pictures of the moon in here, right? So those pictures are going to help us decide that the main idea of this text is the moon. And we're going to read the words and read the facts within our nonfiction text to help us pull out those key details or the important parts of the book that support the main idea. Today in your packet, you have this little reading passage called Sweater Weather. I don't expect you, and neither do your other first grade teachers, to be able to read all those words. There's some very tricky words in there. This is something that I want you to read with mom and dad or your grandparents, whoever's doing your work with you. Read it with them, okay? Because like I said, there's a lot of tricky words in here. We don't expect you to be able to read this on your own. And I want you to think about, what is the main idea of this story? What is this passage all about? Read the title, read the first few sentences and see if you can decide what is that story all about. And then answer, what was one supporting detail in the story? Remember, that's going to be the pizza toppings. That's going to be the things that support that main idea. It's going to be something that tells us that this was all about fall or the moon or sharks. Think about those facts. So like I said, I want you to make sure that you're doing this with an adult, or if you have an older sibling, make sure you're reading this with them. One thing that we do in class when we're doing these kinds of activities is we play a game called Prove It. And when we play Prove It, when we answer the question in class, when a child raises their hand, they'll give me the answer and I'll say, prove it to me. And then they have to go back in the passage, and then they have to read where it came from, and we'll underline that answer. That helps us find evidence in the text, which is something important we need to be able to do by the end of first grade. So parents, if you're watching, that's something fun that you could play to make this a little bit more exciting and engaging. Play Prove It. When you ask them the question and they answer, tell them to prove it to you. Tell them to find in the passage where they found that answer. You could highlight it, you could underline it, and then write it on the line. The other thing that you're going to have in your packet for reading today is this little story called Going Fishing. There are a lot of words that you should be able to read in this. So this I want you to try reading on your own. Have mom and dad or grandma and grandpa listen and help you if you get to a tricky word. But remember, if we come to a word we don't know, we sound it out. Okay, you guys know these sounds. You can do this. Really think about what those sounds are and put those words together. And then you're going to highlight the words that make the sh sound and the th sound. Remember, SH says sh. And TH says, and you guys can read this a few times, highlight all those words that make sh or th, and then write them in the boxes below. It was fun working with you guys today. If you have any questions, just send a message to your child's teacher. Keep working hard. We're proud of you.